Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy Academy. Welcome to this initiative by the Legacy IAS where we are discussing practice questions from the mains point of view. So before continuing with this video, I want you to watch the other videos in this particular playlist, especially the first video where I have detailedly discussed about the structure for the answer writing practice. If it's an introduction, how should you write the introduction and what should be the component of the introduction and how long should the introduction be. I've also talked about what should be the body of the answer and how should we be writing the body of the answer. Should it be in the paragraph or the point wise, and how should you write the subheadings and how should be the diagrams or the schematic representation that you should be doing. Okay, so before continuing with this particular video, I want you to watch all the other videos in this particular playlist so that if you're planning for 2024 as your mains attempt, which means you're preparing very well for the prelims exam in the year 2024 and you're hoping to clear prelims and write mains in the year 2024, then this is a series that you should not be missing. Even if you have started answer writing process or if you have not started the answer writing practice, doesn't matter. So these videos will become very effective for your answer writing practice. Okay, so with this introduction, let's begin with the first question for today. The first question, okay, is about the financial inclusion. Let's look at what the question says. The Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, PMJDY, okay, it's Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, with its aim of ensuring access to various financial services to the excluded sections at an affordable cost, has a huge impact. Still, it is faced with many such challenges to achieving them. Discuss. Potential, I would call this as a potential 15-mark question that can be asked, in the mains examination in the GS paper 3. So now, the prerequisite to answer this particular question is that you should know what is this Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana is all about. You should be knowing this. See, just consider that you don't know PMJDY. You have no clue about what is Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Then trust me, there is 0% chance of you attempting this question and getting it correct. Clear? Because see, the entire question is completely based on PMJDY. And where do you get the information of on this particular topic? Where is the content? The content that you would be getting is from the current affairs. Various current affairs sources that you're following. Might be newspaper, might be legacy YouTube channel videos, or the legacy monthly magazine content, whatever it is. So these are some of the current affairs sources which will give you information about Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Okay. So now, what is the aim? What is the aim of Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana? Basic tenets of the scheme. If you look at the basic tenets of the scheme, what are the scheme? Banking the unbanked sector. See, the main intention of the Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, see, Jan Dhan Yojana is nothing but in the year 2016 and 2017, government came out with a mechanism where government wanted the citizens to open zero balance accounts in the banks. Every Indian should have a bank account. Okay, so and this provision of every Indian having a bank account was compensated or was added with something called as JAM, that is Jam Trinity, as it is famously called as. Jam Trinity stands for Jandhan, Aadhaar, and the mobile. So once you create a bank account, your bank account should be linked with your Aadhaar and the mobile number. So once this is done, government aimed to carry out something called as PAHAL. PAHAL. What does the PAHAL stands for? PAHAL stands for Pratyaksha Hastantarita Labh, which means it is a scheme for DBT, that is direct benefit transfer. So once this is done, the government aimed to transfer all the government benefits to the people directly through these bank accounts. Okay, so this was the aim of Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, where every Indian citizen should have a bank account. So if we look at the basic tenets of the scheme, it is about the banking the unbanked sector in order to achieve financial inclusion, securing the unsecured, okay, funding the unfunded. So these are the three important tenets of the scheme, that is Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Now, if you look at the achievements, okay, we know that this was the objective of the scheme and it wanted to achieve all this, but like let's say 6 years down the line, what has been the achievement of Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana? You can see here, by March 2015, okay, we had 46.25 crores of the accounts that were opened, which means there was a tremendous increase in the number of accounts that were opened by the people after Jan Dhan Yojana. Clear? So from 14 crore in March 2015 to, if you look at 2021, okay, we had around 46 crore bank accounts that were opened. Clear? The deposits, okay, just not the account we're talking about, the deposits also saw a huge increase. See, from the exam point of view, you don't have to remember the numbers with respect to the deposits. If we just know that for 2021 we had these many crore, like around 45 crore bank accounts in India, that will hold good. Increasing in the operative accounts, not just the dormant accounts, the number of operating accounts also got increased. The number of RuPay cards, where we talk about plastic money, and also digital money. Okay, so these two got a very huge boost because of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Smooth DBT transactions, that is direct benefit transfer. This is what I was talking about. Pratyaksha Hastantarita Labh, where the subsidies, scholarships, whatever the what not, all the government schemes will be implemented through direct benefit transfer transactions. Okay, now impact of the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana and some of the challenges. If you look at, see, challenges is something that the question specifically focuses on. Okay, so if we talk about the impacts, increased financial inclusion, correct, and this has led to something called as inclusive growth. The Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana had a direct influence in enabling financial inclusion. Clear? Now, what is financial inclusion? Financial inclusion is a process where the benefits of growth has been equally shared with its stakeholders. So if at all the Indian economy is growing in its GDP, the GDP of India is increasing, and who are the stakeholders? People are the stakeholders. The increasing in the GDP, if it gets reflected upon this increasing in the standard of life of people, then we call it as inclusive growth. Formalization of financial system, okay, prevention of leakage. So these are the three important impacts of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. If you look at the challenges, connectivity. See, connectivity has remained as a biggest challenge with respect to Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. So even though people have opened the bank accounts, because the banks are situated at a very far place, and because the banks work on the internet connectivity with respect to the banks, the servers, the systems, these are all the connectivity issues that the rural masses are actually facing. I'm not telling that these problems are only restricted to rural areas, but the frequency of the problem, the intensity of the problem is actually more in the rural area than the urban area. Technological issue. For example, let's say a UPI transaction, okay, or an internet banking. Rural population are very much isolated from this, and they don't have any knowledge about such transactions. Clear? And because of this, because of digitalization, because of transforming our transactions from physical to digital, this is a main reason why we have the frauds happening today, financial frauds happening, which are very much targeted to the rural masses because of their ignorance, because of their illiteracy, because of financial non-inclusion. These are the reasons why it's happening. Procedure which is not clear. See, that too in a private bank, relatively considerably you will have a better quality of service, but in the public bank you can't expect such quality of service in the rural areas. So these are some of the challenges associated with the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. This is the reason why I told you, if you want to answer this question, you should have a complete idea about what is the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, when was it implemented, what happened. Only if you have this idea from the current affairs, it becomes easy for you going forward to attempt the question. Now, look at the second question for the day. Second question says, the efforts towards land reforms in India have been tardy and slow. It's a statement given. Discuss the reasons for the poor progress of the land reforms in India. Okay, discuss the reasons for the poor progress of land reforms in India. So as a part of the introduction for this particular question, you will have to talk about, or you'll have to define what these land reforms are. Okay, you will have to define what these land reforms are. Only after you define the land reforms, you can talk about the land reform, and you will also have to talk about different land reforms that were enacted post independence. Okay, so this question basically comes from a chapter in the economy that is called as economic planning in India, or the history of the economic planning in India, where we will be talking about land reforms. Okay, you will have to talk about zamindari system, you will talk about land ceiling system, you will have to talk about the Tenancy Reforms Act. So all these included will be the land reforms going forward in a structured way. First one, abolition of intermediaries, one important land reform that was enacted. Tenancy Reforms Act, Tenancy Reforms Act, correct. Third, ceilings on the land holdings and distribution of the surplus land among the landowners. Fourth one, consolidation of the land holdings and prevention of their further fragmentation. Okay, this is the main important problem that the Indian agriculture is actually facing, that is fragmentation of land, that is also called as sub-infeudation of land. This is the four important land reform methods that were implemented. First one is abolition of the intermediaries, second is the Tenancy Reforms Act, third is the land ceiling, fourth is the consolidation of land holdings, and the abolishment and the prevention of the further consolidation or the further fragmentation, which is also the abolition of zamindari. Development of the cooperative farming, cooperative sector in the agriculture, upgradation and the digitalization of land records. So these are some of the things that were carried out by the government. So even though these things have been carried out by the government, not everywhere. If you look at Bengal, if you look at Bihar, if you look at Kerala, if you look at Rajasthan, these policies have not been uniformly implemented. Why this has not been uniformly implemented? Because of the political will. Okay, so if you look at these states where West Bengal and Kerala, where you have the communist inclined political parties, the implementation of the land reform policies are actually better when you compare it with the states like Karnataka, when you compare with the states like Telangana or Andhra Pradesh, where till today you have the presence of land lords. So this is what you will be writing for this particular question. So we have come to the end of the video. If you like the video, hit the like button and also subscribe to Legacy AIS YouTube channel. Have a nice day.